In 1944, the GI Bill was passed. It provided veterans with money for college, businesses, and home loans. But the Democrats and Republicans made sure most black veterans would be excluded from the benefits. It didn't matter if they served in combat or in a support role. The Tuskegee Airmen, the 92nd Infantry Division, 761st Tank Battalion, the women who served. It didn't matter if they'd been decorated for bravery. It would be difficult to cash in on the education grants. VA home loans would be even more difficult. While there was a white post-war housing boom, it almost entirely excluded black veterans in black neighborhoods. In 1947, only 2 of the more than 3,200 VA home loans in 13 Mississippi cities went to black borrowers. But it was the same up north. In New York and the northern New Jersey suburbs, fewer than 100 of the 67,000 mortgages insured by the GI Bill went to non-whites. The stage was set long before World War II.
And this is where you first see this racial language.
Caucasians only, Aryans only, no Negroes or no members of African blood or descent.
100% of them were aimed at black people.
In many ways, racial covenants, this is kind of ground zero of residential segregation. In the United States, and racism have a very, very long history, but this particular deployment of racism is fairly new, and this idea was really made material through instruments like racial covenants.
The law of the streets, the law of the courts working in consort to discourage blacks from moving into white neighborhoods.
It starts out as private property developers, but eventually you have the federal government encouraging these racial covenants, demanding actually that any investment they make is protected with this kind of racial exclusivity.
The federal government means the Democrats and the Republicans. They write the laws, create agencies to enforce them, then hide and let someone else take the blame for their mandates. The FHA was created in 1934. Their loan programs dramatically expanded home ownership.
Fortunately, as part of that, what the HOLC does is it establishes designations for neighborhoods based on the occupants of those neighborhoods.
And this is where the term redlining comes into place. The FHA, they made color-coded maps of all the largest cities in the United States, and they broke cities down into 4 different areas. Red is considered hazardous, that's the worst. Yellow is considered definitely declining. Blue is considered still desirable, and green is considered the best. So areas that were predominantly African American or majority minority, or really in a lot of cases, even if there's a few non-white people there, that's often enough to be redlined. So when they built these maps, they also explained why each area got the ranking it did.
The area around 4th Avenue South, which is called the Old South Side. This was a nice area, it had nice homes. It's the historic African-American neighborhood on the south side of Minneapolis.
This one part of South Minneapolis was redlined specifically due to, and I'm quoting, a gradual infiltration of Negroes and Asiatics. The FHA refused to give an area a green-lined designation. Again, this is the best designation that they'll offer unless, and I'm quoting again, restrictive covenants are already in place. That line's from the FHA underwriting manual.